Good morning. So, I woke up this morning. Well, last night I was feeling like my body was really craving some yoga, and I haven't practiced yoga in any kind of formal setting. Hi, Kyle. Any kind of formal setting since maybe January. I'll pull out my mat and stretch, do a couple poses here and there. My whole first trimester of pregnancy, I was immobile. Like, I was too sick to do anything. And then, of course, with that came all the guilt of not taking care of my body, not working out, blah, 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 blah. So, the point I'm trying to make is that I don't regularly practice yoga, and I have on and off had practices, like consistent and inconsistent practices throughout the years. I've committed certain points in my life over the years, so I'm familiar with yoga. But you know what? It's like every time I really don't enjoy it in the moment. I really don't enjoy it in the moment. Afterwards, I feel amazing. And it's one of those things, like, I think I first really connected to yoga at my first ayahuasca retreat. So, and this was like 3 years ago now. So I had been practicing yoga for many years. And it wasn't until I sat with ayahuasca, they would have yoga for that retreat. They would have yoga every morning. So we would end ceremony at like 2 or 3 in the morning, go to sleep, and then we would have yoga at 7. And when you're participating in plant medicine ceremonies, you don't need a lot of sleep. Well, that's, at least personally, that's what I found. I don't need a lot of sleep. The ayahuasca just energizes me. But anyway, I would go to the yoga classes every morning at 7:00, and oh my God, it was just like, it would give me life. Like, it really would, because the ceremonies are so draining. They're so long. You're doing all this inner work, and that, like, with me, I was fighting myself a lot, like fighting my ego a lot. Resisting a lot. So that takes a lot. That is draining, and it takes a lot out of you. So those yoga classes in the morning were clutch. They really were exactly what my body was craving and exactly what my body needed. And it was to the extent that I started really questioning what was my relationship with yoga in general, because I had never connected to it on that level. And so it really was evident that it was something that my body thrives with, because every breath was rejuvenating at the ayahuasca retreat. So anyway, we had a mushroom ceremony. I hosted a beautiful mushroom ceremony yesterday for 4 souls who came to do the hard work, and it was amazing, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'm working for 6 hours straight, I'm pregnant, and it's gonna take a toll on my body, and that's I'm happy to do the work, and it lights me up for sure. And also, my physical body has limits, just like everybody else's. So being aware of that is really a game changer, because you can't, a lot of the time, once we get into spirituality, there's a lot of spiritual teachings that revolve around, especially in the Western world, a lot of spiritual practices revolve around mindset. And then even like the ancient spiritual practices there's a sort of disconnect to the body. Not all ancient spiritual practices, but especially the New Age ones. So it's really important to take the body into account, because you are your body. Your body's part of you. And your spirit's part of you too. So it's not about just focusing on the spiritual. It's understanding that the physical is just as important and just as sacred as your spirit, as your soul. And so I last night I was like, my body is really asking me to do some yoga, and I didn't want to do it, and I haven't done a practice, and I'm pregnant. Like, there's so many excuses I could have come up with. And I did. Like, I did make those excuses in my mind. And then, it was even crazier because my yoga teacher, Alex, I was looking at her schedule yesterday on social media, and she had a 9 a.m. class in the morning. I was like, okay, I think I can commit to that, right? So I'm shifting my relationship with discipline, where I'm trying to, I'm learning to see it as something that is very supportive of me and supportive of my happiness and joy and calm and peace. So instead of this thing that is my enemy that I'm always fighting against, So I wake up, I was like, okay, I'll set my alarm for 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock yoga class is plenty of time, right? I don't really need to get ready or anything. So I set my alarm for 8 o'clock. I woke up at 7:45, and I looked at my phone. I was like, it's 7:45. Let me see how far this place is so I can sleep in a little bit more. So I check how far it is, and it's 40 minutes away. Hi, baby. It's 40 minutes away, 40 minutes. I thought it was going to be down the road. It was 40 minutes away from my house. So now it's 7:46. The class is at 9. I'm like, I still need to, it was at a hotel rooftop. I'm like, I still need to park and find this place. I've never been there before. And I'm like, I have to leave now. I have to get up right now and then leave. And again, there's so many opportunities for me to be like, I'm not going to do this. It's, I want to take care of myself. I used to always talk myself out of doing things like that by saying that it was out of self-love. I wanted to let myself sleep in. I wanted to not push myself or whatever, especially now being pregnant. And it's just not true. Yeah, sometimes that's the case, but most of the time it's just me not feeling like it or not wanting to practice the discipline to follow through on something I don't want to do, which is understandable, obviously, right? I don't want to do it, so it's really easy to not do it. But I was really proud of myself. I got up and I went, and I was not happy. I was happy when I got there. I was happy I'd made it. And then throughout the class, I remembered that I really, really don't like practicing yoga. I feel bad. I feel so bad saying it, but it's I just don't like it. And it's such a powerful lesson because it really shows me how strong I am and how disciplined I am for reals. Because I didn't want to do it, and there were so many things going against me, and then still following through, and then feeling so good afterwards. And it was because I woke up with a backache. My back was starting to hurt from last night from working for 6 hours. So I, went to sleep with a backache. I woke up with a backache, and now it's gone. And it literally was exactly what my body needed. And I'm so grateful that I listened and followed through, right? So that was that this morning. Yes, some days my body wants me to do yoga, so it goes with the flow. Right, yeah. So it's, really honoring your body. Our bodies have its own consciousness. And I was actually sharing this I don't think I want to get into this right now because I want to talk more about the physical stuff. So pause on that story. But yesterday was the first mushroom ceremony where I incorporated body work into it. And the reason I incorporated body work was because I had a really powerful experience where I sat in ceremony with 2 massage therapists, and I received massages like throughout the ceremony. And because I was under the influence of the mushrooms, I just felt so incredibly connected to the points, like to the areas that they were working on. And massage therapists have like, the good ones have like, are really connected to their own intuition. So they know exactly where to work on our bodies. So for me, I when I find a good massage therapist, I completely trust that they know what areas to work on, because we store trauma in our bodies, right? So, but during the mushroom ceremony, she was working on this one part of my back, and I just started bawling. And I knew exactly what was stored in that spot. Like I knew, like I could see all the memories that were coming up. I could see all the emotions that were trapped in that one area. And it was just it was such a powerful experience. And it really made me start to think about incorporating body work, like massage, not just massage, but just body work in general, bringing us into our body and connecting us to healing our body on an energetic level, or the perspective, coming from an energetic perspective and coming from like a spiritual perspective, coming from like an altered state, right? Because you're in an altered state when you're consuming these psychedelics. So seeing your physical healing through this altered state just adds so much depth to the experience. So that's why I decided to start incorporating bodywork. And yesterday was the first time that I actually did it. And it was amazing. Like it went so much better than, I mean, I knew it was going to be amazing, but it's such a nice surprise still. And there was a lot of releasing that was going on. Lot of connection, lot of love, heart, like the theme of the ceremony was heart opening, right? And with anything that's heart opening, it always feels like when you hear heart opening or heart centered, like it's always so for me, when I hear it, I think that it's so peaceful and it's so, it's just love and light, but heart opening, anything that's heart opening, like if you think about your heart opening, like breaking open, there's a painful part of that process. And it's not all painful, and maybe none of it is painful sometimes, but there are times when it is painful because your heart is breaking open, and the breaking part can be tough. Like it really feels like it can feel like deep heartache. And we've all had the experience of heartbreak in some form, so you know what that feels like, and it doesn't feel good at all. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip. So I don't remember what time I started this, but I'm trying to keep my lives sweet and short and sweet, because everybody has things to do and short attention spans because we're human. But the whole point of this is, we can get starting our spiritual journey, especially when we're starting our spiritual journeys, and even if we've been on it for several years, it can get really easy to discount and discredit the physical experience and the human experience. There are a lot of spiritual teachers who talk about ascending, like transcending, and it's almost like there's this air of like superiority over your humanity and over humanity in general. Like, oh, I'm a spiritual being, so I'm better, or I'm wiser, and I know more than being human. And I get it. I understand. And also, no, it's not true. Like we're still human. Whatever you believe in, I believe we chose this. Like we chose to be reincarnated as a human. So I'm gonna stand by my decisions, right? I can make a choice of fighting against myself, or I can make the choice to really own where I'm at. And this is this can be applied to anything. It doesn't just have to be spiritual principles. Once you make a decision to do something, really commit to that, really devote yourself to that, stand behind yourself, and it teaches you to trust yourself. Even if that was the wrong, quote unquote, wrong decision, you're still supporting yourself, and you're still making a practice of supporting yourself no matter what. And that's more important than being right or wrong, in my opinion. So incorporating the physical part of healing into your spiritual practice will take it up another level. Like there are certain schools of thought that will kind of imply that once you are like the spirit, like what I was saying, the spiritual level is somehow higher than the physical. And I guess if you're thinking in terms of dimension, like yes, it's a technically higher dimension, but it's not better. Like one isn't better than the other. And it's really important to make that distinction, because it's so easy to disregard your human experience and disregard things about that are attached to your humanity that you can easily spiritually bypass. And that doesn't help anybody. Like it doesn't help anybody. Whether you want to admit it or not, we have trauma stored in our body. We need healing on a physical level. So the sooner you admit it or acknowledge it, the sooner you can get started on that healing, So what I really love about mushrooms is that it helps you connect to your body. And, this depends on your intentions. It depends on how you're sitting with it, your experience with mushrooms. You're not going to have this experience every single time. But for me personally, mushrooms have really helped me understand my body on a different level, and honor it, and honor that my body is capable of so many more things than I give it credit for. But anyway, yeah, I just want to stay on the point. I have to corral myself in. Yeah, so paying attention to what your body needs to heal, paying attention to things like your nervous system, because especially manifestation teachers will teach a lot about affirmations and creating visions, creating like writing lists of what you want to manifest, and then all these practices on how to manifest. But then the whole physical part is left out, because what happens is we can be so traumatized that our bodies and our nervous systems are used to chaos. So we're used to things being not calm and not peaceful, and we're used to fighting, and we're used to just not I don't know what word I'm trying to look for, but you can be used to chaos if you've grown up around it. And this is really important, because you can't just switch it off. You can't just switch your nervous system response. So even though you may be, for example, if somebody had a very tumultuous childhood, their relationship with their parents was always yelling and screaming and getting in trouble and not showing emotion, all this stuff, then this pattern will cycle or recycle throughout your relationship. So you'll attract partners who kind of co-create this chaotic environment with you. And then, you do some inner work, and then eventually you decide that, okay, I'm gonna draw some boundaries. I'm not gonna accept this kind of treatment from anybody, and this is what I want. And then you get into a healthy relationship, and you don't feel good in it. Like, you're still miserable, you still feel unfulfilled and satisfied, or you are creating chaos within it because, so the point I'm trying to get at is that your nervous system doesn't feel safe in that healthy relationship because it doesn't know what's right or wrong or what's good or bad or what you prefer. It just knows what it's used to. So if it feels like something is different from what it's used to, then it's gonna think that it's being threatened. Like, your body thinks that it's unsafe and is being threatened. So even though logically and intellectually you can look at your situation and say, well, no, this is the safest environment I've ever been in my life. This is the safest relationship I've been in my life. It doesn't matter if your nervous system is still wired to think that chaos is safety. So this is a really important part, because if you're not feeling safe enough to welcome success, if you're not feeling safe enough to have money, if you're not feeling safe enough to be seen, your nervous system, your body is going to stop that thing from happening at all costs. And this shows up in so many different areas of your life, especially in your intimate relationships and in your business if you are an entrepreneur. So, this could show up as like not being able to level up, not being able to expand your reach, having clients, just hitting like plateaus, hitting ceilings, and then not understanding why you can't break through that ceiling. Because we should always be able to expand. We should always be able, there's always room for growth. And what happens with a lot of, especially spiritual business owners, is that we'll hit ceilings even though we're doing the same things to expand. That we started implementing tools for expansion, and then it's expanded, and then got to a certain place, and then even though we're still continuing with the tools and practices, we can't somehow break past that threshold. And it almost always has to do with safety. And the reason why we don't, that's not at the forefront of our mind, is because the physical gets pushed to the side a lot of the time. So I think that's all of it. I'm telling y'all, I feel so good after that yoga. And the mushroom ceremony was amazing. I'm so grateful for everybody who came, and it was just so perfect. And I didn't serve a lot of mushrooms because I knew it was gonna go deep. So it was like the perfect amount, and really happy with it. And I hope you guys can make it to the next one. I think I'm pretty sure maybe 5 people, but 4 was really nice because I do individual body work on everyone. And I'm pregnant, so I can't be doing body work on 8 people. That's a little too much. But yes, I will make an announcement for the next mushroom ceremonies. I am planning on having 2 in August. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. DM me if you have any questions, comments, and have a good rest of the day and a good week. Love you guys. Bye.